Hello, beautiful family, lovers of good things, lovers of beautiful things all over the globe. I bring greetings from a grateful heart. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your time zone. Thank you so dearly for always tuning into this platform. I really do appreciate. Please do it to like our video, share, and subscribe. Today, I have a wonderful one that I want us to watch, and I will be watching it with you. Sit back, watch it, and I'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to keep this very short. We're just going to keep this very, very short. And I'm talking about humanity and the wickedness that humanity is experiencing, had experienced, and continues to experience in this worst contraption and structured evil against humanity called Nigeria. So I'm asking this question. So you designed and structured a system, poisoned a system to a level where the few who purport to call themselves leaders are organized in such a way that they agree with you to enslave the people, to destroy the ingenuity in the people, and damage the land in such a way that the only thing that one sees are just destruction of life, destruction of everything that makes us human. You structured it in that way. I'm asking, how evil, how wicked, how fraudulent, how racist, how demonic are you? Or have you not checked yourself out to know that all these adjectives are applicable to you? I think somebody has to tell you. Somebody has to remind you. Somebody has to wake up your soul, because you are actually enslaving yourself and damaging your soul because you are confused. So you designed a system where the few will always work against the people. The few who purport and claim to be leaders can only be leaders only if they are in the business of destroying the people, the masses. My God. And when the people react and say, no, this is not right, you tell them, you advise them to go through the political route, to find a political solution. You give this advice in the knowledge that they will only go back to the few who would go against the wishes, the will of the people. You know very well that there is no road there. You channel them back to the same system that you have built to destroy them, knowing very well that it will be an impossibility. Now, let me tell you something today. There is an owner of this world, and there is something called season. And you are dealing with fellow mortal beings who have autonomy, who have free will, who are not animal as you thought. You are dealing with mortal beings, because what you're doing is something you know you yourself wouldn't like. Something you know you yourself wouldn't want for your children, wouldn't want for your relatives. You know very well, in fact, your own spirit convicts you. And you play all these games. In the world, you're telling the world, well, Africans are corrupt, they have corrupt leaders, because you are in cahoot with the few that are destroying lives. You know that that is just what you have planned, so that they wouldn't mind even if you're saying that. You are in cahoots. You're just trying to deceive the world. You will at times even suggest that you're not interested. You're too busy wherever you are. You're not interested. It is a matter for them. And you claim they are independent. They can do what they like. It's up to the people to rise up. But you know that you have put mechanisms in place to make sure that people cannot rise. Even if they rise, you are telling them to go through the process. you have created the process that has no road in them to find solution to the problem. So you're playing all these games and you call it diplomacy, you call it due process, you call it all sorts of names. You know, this is why the truth comes out stark naked, and the truth doesn't give a damn about the silly games you're playing. The truth has no business to this madness, because we know it's madness, because all you are fixated on is things that just things that you had no hand in bringing into the world, things you can never take out of this world. You're so fixated that you lose sight of the fact that the things that are attracting your eyes are things that mortal beings recreated from things that were already created. The things that mortal beings gave names, the things that mortal beings gave meanings, the things that mortal beings gave value, things that are only here for a season because everybody must depart. You lose total sight of that because in your mind, mortal beings are mere animals. But you haven't asked yourself if animals are capable of recreating things from the things that had already been created before anybody got here. You haven't asked yourself if animals are capable of giving meaning and value to anything. You haven't asked yourself whether animals are capable of even reproducing what they eat. You haven't asked yourself if animals are capable of poisoning the world, or if animals are capable of being as crafty and wicked as you are in this way, in terms of planning and executing evil, planning evil in advance and executing it. You hadn't asked yourself all these questions, but in your mind, all you're thinking is mortal beings are animals. How did you come to that conclusion? Is it possible? Is it possible that mortal beings are animals when mortal beings are here to replenish the earth, when mortal beings are here and animals are dependent on mortal beings and on nature for the reproduction of what they eat? How possible is that mortal beings are animals? You have never asked yourself that question. And even if you had, it is obvious that you had blinded your eyes to that truth because you are in pursuit of things your limited eyesight can see, and you're so attracted to them that you lose sight of your senses. But somebody has to tell you the truth. Somebody has to. Now, I'm asking you, how evil are you? How racist are you? How fraudulent are you? How wicked are you? Is it that you don't have anything called conscience in you? And if you do, don't you know that conscience simply means consequences? You don't know that. You're actually asking people to subscribe to things you yourself would never ever subscribe to. You would never want to have anything to do with your children. But you are forcing others to eat from this poisonous pot. You are removing everything. You're seeking to remove everything that make human beings what they ought to be out of human beings. You are claiming ownership of yourself, even though you know that you are a byproduct, just an accidental byproduct of two strangers' sexual intercourse. That is the only way you got to know that this world existed, let alone the things that are in this world. Are you blind to these realities? So people come to you and say, look, this is not right. And you're saying, okay, you go through the due process. You know that there is no road in that due process. You know very well that there is no road because you planned it that way, so you can continue to steal, you can continue to amass. But recently, we just witnessed the passing of Queen of England. And your conscience has still not told you, oh my God. So everything that had been looted, everything that the Queen is renowned to have, everything, every alliance, all these alliances, all these secret and open societies that are attached to the Queen, all these ammunition and the guards and all these stolen wealth and the accumulation of earthly wealth, all of these things have suddenly abandoned and rejected the Queen. The Queen actually had to leave alone, lonely and empty-handed. And you can't relate that to your own self. You couldn't see it. You just could not see it. I mean, it is startling. It's startling. It's shocking. It's unbelievable. But somebody has to remind you. Somebody has to tell you. And we are telling you this because we know that every soul needs salvation. We are not telling you that you must change, but we are also telling you just to make sure that you can never deny the knowledge of the truth. You can't. You can't. So we must tell you. Now, I'm telling you this today, and you can mark my words. All your agendas of evil, all your plans of evil, everything you have organized, the season is here. Because that season is here, the advice I'm giving you all is that you should think carefully and not stand in the way of the change that is coming. Even if you don't agree with that change, do not stand in the way of the change, because the season of change is here. I want to continuously remind everybody that this world is a rented house. This world is a rented house because nobody was here when the world was constructed. So we all became part of it through the same process that it took others to bring each of us into this world. It took other people, to ensure our survival. And it also would always take others to ensure our departure. And in the end, everything and everyone will end up on the ground, in the soil. Perhaps it hasn't dawned on you that we all return to dust no matter how much we fly. That we all return to dust whether we like it or not, because it is from dust we came. How wicked are you? How insane are you? How fraudulent are you? How racist are you? That is the question. But let me tell you, you can plan as much as you like. You can do whatever it is you think you can do. But I tell you, the freedom of humanity must come and is here. And humanity, because humanity belongs to God, humanity is not a commodity that belongs to any individual, any community, any country, any continent. There is nothing you can do about the change that is coming. If you stand in the way of that change, it will consume you and consume your soul. So it's a warning. Therefore, I call on Biafrans, I call on the Oduduwa, and I call on every other community in that evil contraction wanting to be free, to go for their freedom now. Because the rules of the world, and whatever rules that have been established, does not work in Nigeria. Because Nigeria is extraordinary and extraordinarily organized. You must go for your freedom in an extraordinary way. It's just the way it is. You must go for your freedom in any way, shape, or form that Almighty God has put it in your hearts. You are not to take any instructions from anyone. You're not to take any. You're not going to be waiting on anyone, any country, any community, you have no reason to do that. You pray to God, and whatever God plants in your heart, you move and execute that. Assume the positions of heroes in the past God used to effect change. Assume the position of David in the Bible. Assume the positions of Moses in the Bible. Assume the positions of people like Joshua. Assume the position of a human being willing and able to be used by God, and move forward and take your freedom. You need your freedom in order to be able to harness your uniqueness. Humanity needs each person's uniqueness desperately, because we understand the functionalities of in humanity are similar to that of an engine, where each part must yield their uniqueness for the engine to work properly. That is why you must move forward in boldness to take your freedom. Those who want to control you would never want to be controlled. They don't control their children. Go and ask them. They can't control their partners. They don't want to be controlled themselves. They can't control their partners. They can't control their adult children. You now need to know that these people are so insane to want to control other people, other communities, other countries, other continents. They can only be insane, and their insanity is actually beyond madness. That is why even psychiatry couldn't understand them in order to have any provisions for them, because their level of insanity is beyond madness. If psychiatry were to understand and comprehend the level of madness existing in these individuals that have organized themselves in packs, that have formed alliances of evil, if psychiatry had seen and understood these people, psychiatry wouldn't have become a fraud that it is today against the poor, the weak, and the vulnerable, because psychiatry missed out on the real people that needed it most. So I call on humanity today to move forward. I call on Biafrans. I call on Oduduwas. I call on Ariwas. I call on all the people desiring change to discard all the nonsense rules applicable to man, which is littered in evil and confusion, and move forward with God and achieve your freedom, because your freedom is pivotal to humanity's prosperity, growth, and everything. Your freedom is pivotal. Can you imagine an engine where the battery does not work? The spark plug is rendered useless just because some parts believe that they are there to control the rest. That is how insane these people are. And they need to know that we know. And we're not going to tolerate that madness any longer. Look at how messy the whole world is. Look at how terrible humanity has become because of a few who are intent on holding themselves hostage by holding others in slavery. Can't you see it? Or are you too blind to see and notice them? The time is here. The time is now to do the needful. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. I wanted to keep it brief. I hope it's not too long so people can understand and do the needful. I remain Princess Emihenacho, advocate for humanity. Remain blessed. This is the season. I thank you.
That brings us to the end of this update. Do well to like the video, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for always tuning in. I really do appreciate. Share the video and tell your friends about this platform, because the best thing or the best place for you to be is here. Turn on the bell icon so that whenever I drop a new buzz boost like this, you'll be the first to notify. Thank you once again and remain blessed.